Greetings, friends, and welcome to The Bright Side, your nutritional program dedicated to the understanding of the vast world of nutrition and nutritional supplementation. I am your host, Pharmacist Ben, nutritional pharmacist from Boulder, Colorado. I use nutritional supplements where other healthcare practitioners use toxic pharmaceutical drugs and sometimes deadly medical procedures. If you suspect that there are natural nutritional roads to your health and vitality and well-being and to addressing your health challenges, whatever they may be, but you don't know where to begin, you have come to the right place. As you listen to The Bright Side every day, you are more and more in control of your body, you are more and more knowledgeable, and you know you can overcome any health challenge. That is why we are here. Every day on The Bright Side, helping clear up the sometimes confusing world of nutrition and nutritional supplementation. Over the last 3 decades plus of practicing pharmacy, I have seen drug-free recoveries from diabetes, hypertension, obesity, skin diseases like psoriasis, eczema, rosacea, acne, digestive ailments, autoimmune issues of all kinds, recoveries that by the standards of modern medicine can only be called a miracle, but what is in the world of the body, what is in the world of biology, standard operating procedure. Because the human biological system is a healing and regenerating system. It's designed divinely to heal and renew itself on a moment-to-moment basis. And while that may seem like a miracle to some folks, this renewing system is really nothing more than just the way the body works. And welcome to The Bright Side, friends. Pharmacist Ben here. Thank you for being here. If you have comments or a success story or you'd like to contribute to the conversation today, we want to hear from you. 844-236-6010 is our number, 844-236-6010. If you want to purchase longevity products, call 866-735-2470. Now's a really good time, by the way, to think about the longevity business, and certainly it's an amazingly important time to think about getting on a good nutritional supplement program, even if you don't want to be in the business. The Beyond Tangy Tangerine is one of the best immune-boosting anti-coronavirus supplements you could ever take. We are in the midst, for you guys listening in the future, we're in the midst of the coronavirus pandemic, as they say. The word pandemic strikes fear in the heart. Pandemic. What is a pandemic? A pandemic just means a lot of people are getting it. And this confusion, this collapsing of two separate ideas, this confusing infection with symptomatic with disease with death, lumping it all together doesn't serve us. It's really kind of silly. We'll talk about that here. I'm not done talking about the coronavirus. I did my moment of truth on it today. If you have an experience with the coronavirus, or if you have an opinion about what's going on, I'd love to hear from you. I definitely want to hear from you if you've experienced it. What was it like? 844-236-6010 is our number. And to encourage new callers, I'm going to give a Beyond Tangy Tangerine to all first-time callers, because I want to hear from new people. I know they're out there. People don't like to talk on the radio. It's not a big deal, and it's definitely something that you can help other people with. And if you motivate, if you're a first-time caller, I get you Beyond Tangy Tangerine, I'll send it out to you on me. That's a $60 or so value. 844-236-6010 is our number. If you want to purchase longevity products, go to brightsideben.com, pharmacistben.com, or criticalhealthnews.com. We've got videos and news stories and blog posts on all our websites, and you can also purchase longevity products and sign up to join the Brightside Ben team off the websites as well. And for our Truth Skin Health products, truthtreatments.com, truthtreatments.com. Take a look at our perfect pair for $49. You get a 3 to 4 week supply of our Truth Transdermal C Serum, plus our Biomimetic Mineral Mist for $49. You don't like it after 30 days, just send it back. I'll give you your money back, but that's not going to happen. Truthtreatments.com, truthtreatments.com. So I want to talk about this craziness. I don't usually like talking about silliness like this, but I think it's really important for a few reasons. First of all, guess what? There's good news here and there's bad news here. The bad news is that you can expect more of this. This is not a one-off. The coronavirus may come and may go, but we have set ourselves up to have pandemics. Now, I said earlier, the idea of a pandemic, that just means that it spreads. It doesn't mean that it's a bunch of people dying. You see on the media, the news, Justin Trudeau's wife had it. She's quarantining herself. Lindsey Graham, he is infected. Is the president infected? You hear the word infection, right? An infection just means you got the virus. It doesn't mean you're symptomatic. It doesn't mean you have anything. And that's really the problem. But I digress. because I think this is really important. The point I want to make here. The bad news is you can expect more of this because we've created a perfect storm for viral infections. First of all, we've trashed our environment. We've toxified our water and our air. We've done all kinds of stuff to suppress our immune system. That's first of all. Secondly, we've clear-cut the rainforest and changed the ecosystem and changed the balance of things on planet Earth. We're interacting with viruses that used to live in the wild and that human beings never had an interaction with. I'm not down on capitalism or well, I am kind of a little bit the way it shows up, corporatocracy, but that's not the point. The point is we've mucked up our environment. These viruses are all over the place. There's millions and millions of millions. There's countless viruses. Okay, there's countless viruses on planet Earth. We're going to be interacting with these viruses. So first of all, we've mucked up our environment, the water, the air, as well as we're now interacting with other species in a way we didn't. And by the way, one of the main vectors of these things is birds. And then secondly, we're sick. We're really sick. Of course we're going to be subject to pandemics because we're sick. You can't have all the risk factors for infection and for becoming symptomatic, for developing complications, are like a laundry list of everything Americans and human beings in general are suffering from. Diabetes, hypertension, obesity, autoimmunity, cancer, stressed out lives. And don't underestimate the importance of psychological stress, which is really just highlights how stupid this hype is. I was reading an article here. Peggy Noonan she was a speechwriter for I think it was Nixon, George Bush maybe. She says, "Don't panic is rotten advice." Really? Panic then. That's what's happening, is people are panicking. What's with the toilet paper, by the way? Does anybody know why people are buying toilet paper? Like hoarding toilet. Do you really need to hoard toilet paper? What is that about? There's a psychological thing that's happening. And now, who knows, it might be food later. People hoard food. This is not a zombie apocalypse, people. And I know I'm preaching to the choir here because you guys are probably on board with this, but for your friends, this is not the zombie apocalypse. But what it is, and what it should be, is a wake-up call. A big-time wake-up call. I'm all for quarantine. I don't want to say that. Flattening the curve might be something that you have to do. Flattening the curve is when you lower the intensity of the spread by quarantining. I don't even know if I like that. But it's not going to solve the problem, and alcohol isn't going to solve the problem either. We're going to solve the problem, first and foremost, when we understand that it's about the vector, the spreader. Virology, the study of viruses can be thought of like, viruses in general can be thought of like a frog jumping from lily pad to lily pad. The virus is the frog, and the lily pad is called the vector. We have a dream come true vector system for viruses. That is people, or for this virus in particular, COVID-19, they call it a novel virus, by the way, because they just discovered it. We have a vector system that's just built in. It's like, it couldn't be more built in. It's sort of like how the internet is hardwired into our culture. The vector system for viruses is hardwired into our culture. There's a vector highway that we've set up, and that's our fat butts, basically. And I don't mean to be harsh here, mean-spirited, but it's our poor health. Listen, if you're on a prescription drug, if you're on a beta blocker, if you're on anything that suppresses your body in any way, let alone prednisone or an immune suppressant, what do you think is going to happen? If you're obese or morbidly obese or or have an autoimmune disease, of course you're going to be more prone towards these things. Does that mean that we have to just freak out about it? No. There's lots we can do. The fact that we can now isolate the problem, we always want to focus outside ourselves for the problem. That's why we freak out. But if we can, locus of control, we got control here. If you think you don't have control, it's just a virus and it's attacking you, of course you're going to freak out. But if you understand how this whole thing works, you can calm down and make yourself stronger. That's the solution. And then also, of course, take care of the environment. All right, I'm Pharmacist Ben. 844-236-6010 is our number.
To the letter.
Okay, we're back on the bright side. I'm Pharmacist Ben. 844-236-6010 is our number. If you have questions about anything we're talking about here today, I definitely want to hear from you, what you guys think about this whole coronavirus stuff. 844-236-6010 is our number. There's some specials, I think, on our Facebook page for zinc and some immune boosters. I probably should check that out. But if you go to our Facebook page, if you follow us on Facebook, that'd be great. The bright side with Pharmacist Ben, and there's we're going to talk to Quantum Jeff here in a little bit. He posted a video on my Facebook page, and the guy knows his stuff. He's got studied some very interesting things, and I'm happy that he's one of our smart listeners because he's got a lot of good stuff to contribute. And we'll talk to him in our next segment. At the bottom of the hour, 844-236-6010. So before we went to break, we were talking about this whole idea of focusing outside ourselves. We like to focus outside ourselves. You know, we never want to blame ourselves for anything. I had nothing to do with it. I was just sitting there watching TV, minding my own business, and boom, I got fibromyalgia. I can't tell you how many people I've heard don't say it like that. They say I was fine, and then I got fibromyalgia. Or my heart attacked me. My gallbladder attacked me. I had nothing to do with it. My heart attacked me. We don't think about it intentionally. You know, obviously we know that we have a role to play in our health, but we're encouraged to look outside ourselves. This is kind of a paradigm, a model. This is based in this whole idea of looking outside ourselves versus looking in ourselves was highlighted or was really codified in history, memorialized in history, I should say, by the germ theory debate, the great germ theory debate. This was at the late 1800s. There was a big debate in medicine about whether it was germs, or they didn't know it was germs, microbes or things that lived in the air. This was an idea that was promoted by Louis Pasteur, who was a beer maker, I think. He was involved in fermenting things. I think it was beer, actually. And he was big on he knew that there was chemical reactions that occurred in his fermentation studies. So he just kind of took an intuitive leap, and he said that there were germs that caused the problem. Now, he was right in a way, and germ theory kind of worked for a while. But the problem is he missed something very important, which his antagonist, a guy named Claude Beauchamp, promoted. It was a great battle between Beauchamp and Pasteur. Pasteur, by the way, Louis Pasteur is where we get the word pasteurize, because he thought it would be important to heat things so they kill the bacteria. You pasteurize it, and obviously that's a good thing. That's pasteurization. Of course, pasteurization of dairy and pasteurization of vegetables and pasteurization of electron-rich, nutrient-dense foods isn't necessarily a good thing, because heat is the enemy of nutrition. Nonetheless, for contamination and for eliminating pathogens, that's not a bad idea to heat things, to pasteurize them if you're going to be ingesting milk or high protein foods. It's basically usually high protein foods that do this, that are more prone towards bacterial growth that pasteurization can take care of. Anyway, Beauchamp, on the other hand, he was a scientist, and he actually, even though we haven't heard of the name Antoine, I think I said Claude, it's Antoine Beauchamp. Even though we haven't really heard of Antoine Beauchamp, and it's Pasteur won the day, or Pasteur's theory won the day. This idea that specific microbes called germs are the cause of specific diseases is how medicine works, and we just assume that's the case. Now, it's changed a little bit in the last 20 years or so. We've more and more have understood about the importance of the terrain, as Antoine Beauchamp said. The terrain, and interestingly enough, at the end of Pasteur's life, he agreed with Beauchamp that it was the terrain that caused the problem. And guess what? It's common sense. Obviously, you need a vector, you need a carrier, you need a terrain. That's where our power lies. And the whole irony of this coronavirus thing, to me, is that it's so obvious. And it's so in our power to take care of this. It's so in our power. Now, you may get the coronavirus. That may happen. You may get infected, I should say, because just that's the nature of things, and we live the way we live. You may get infected, but that doesn't mean you have to be symptomatic. And if you're symptomatic, that doesn't mean you have to have complications. Even if you have complications, that doesn't mean they have to be fatal. But you don't even have to have complications. You can get away with having symptoms or just being infected. But to do it, you got to change your life. And the irony of this whole thing is it's all the same things we talk about on the bright side every day. It's all the same things Doc Wallach's been talking about for decades. It's all the things I've been talking about for decades. It's nothing fancy. It's nothing unusual. There's no magic. You take care of your immune system by not burdening it as best as you can, because we live in a toxic environment. So there's going to be a given amount of toxicity that you're going to deal with, and that's just the facts, and nothing we can do about that. But what you can do is you can mitigate your risk. You can strengthen your immune system by not doing the bad things and by doing the good things. And it's as simple as that. Is that any different than what you have to do to protect yourself from cancer? Is that anything different than what you have to do to protect yourself from autoimmune diseases or neurological diseases or depression or digestive problems or anything else? It's the same thing. It's the same thing. And that's so ironic to me and so tragic and so sad all at the same time. I got friends who are freaking out. I talked about my friend Dan yesterday. Oh, my God. Oh, my God. It has to tell me the statistics, the latest statistics on how many people have died of the coronavirus. It's up to 4,900, I think, last I heard, are in the whole planet out of 7.8 billion or 7.7 billion people. 4,800 have died. Okay, so it's a virus. It's going to spread. It's not the end of the world. And by the way, when we talk about a sick culture, it's not just physically sick. We're mentally sick. We're emotionally sick, and we're spiritually sick. And by sick, I mean we are disconnected. We are operating out of fear mode. That's basically what it is. It's operating out of fear mode. When you operate out of fear mode, you're more prone towards infections. Your immune system is suppressed. You can't have emotional fear and mental fear and distress, literally, and not have an immune system ramifications. You can't have it. Has to happen. Which is more irony, because the fear that's promoted encourages suppressed immunity. What's the point of telling me everything about the coronavirus and the testing and politics? And the most of the news about the coronavirus is not. There's no news. The coronavirus, everything we know about the coronavirus last week, we know about it today, about the virus itself. Okay, so it's not. There's only so much information about the coronavirus itself, and it's not a lot. It's a virus. It comes in through droplets. It lives on surfaces for a while. You can kill it off of surfaces, supposedly. And it's a respiratory infection. And most people, 80% of people, just get a little bit of a few symptoms. 80 to 85% of people, just a few symptoms. And then another small subset of that, 20% or so, are going to have problems. Okay, and that 20%, for the most part, I know people say, well, my friend, he was only 30 years old, and he was healthy, blah, blah, blah. We don't know how healthy he was, first of all. For the most part, it's going to only affect folks who are compromised. All right, 844-236-6010 is our number. I'm Pharmacist Ben. You're listening to The Bright Side. We'll be back after this. On the bright side, Pharmacist Ben here. Got lines open, 844-236-6010. I'm not sure where Quantum Jeff is. He's going to call in. Well, maybe he'll call in. He had some interesting takes on our Facebook page, The Bright Side with Pharmacist Ben. I think I am going to do a Facebook Live on there. I'll try and do one this weekend. So if you haven't followed us there, you might want to follow us at The Bright Side with Pharmacist Ben. Thanks, Nasima, for setting that up. Quantum Jeff had a cool video that I thought had some interesting takes on it. Quantum Jeff understands the quantum nature of health. That's really what it's all about. That's where our beliefs play in, how our beliefs affect our biology, the biology of belief, as they say. And that's how our emotions and our feelings affect our biology. That's how food affects our biology. It's all at the quantum level. It's all about the quanta. One of the coolest things about quantum theory is it recognizes the link between what is called consciousness and and stuff, material, matter. It recognizes that there is a link between how we think, how we're aware, how we're conscious, and how our world shows up. At the quantum level, you change your thought, you change the quanta. That's pretty fundamental right there. That means we got a lot of power over a lot of stuff that we're not told about. Not that I'm blaming anybody, because we have to take this. If there's any lesson about the coronavirus, it's that we have to take our health into our own hands. That's what longevity has been all about since it began, is taking your health into your own hands. That's what this should be about. This should be a wake-up call. And if you're not doing a supplement, you don't want to do longevity supplements, fine. Get on a supplement program. And if you're sick, or I should say, if you're chronically ill, like with something like diabetes, make this a priority. Make this make this an opportunity. Take this opportunity to take care of yourself, to respect yourself. That's really what we're talking about here. Respect yourself. The corporatocracy that makes McDonald's and makes the desserts and makes all the processed food, they don't respect us. I'm in the skincare world. I can tell you, the skincare business does not respect you. I started Truth Treatments because I was respecting you, and I was respecting my products, and I was respecting ingredients, and I was respecting formulations. That's the biggest problem with corporatocracy. It doesn't respect us. I called Delta Airlines a few days ago. They put me on hold for 2.5 hours. That's a lack of respect right there. 2.5 hours. Then they have an option that says, oh, if you'd like us to call you back, we'll call you back in 2.5 hours. Guess what? They didn't call me back. I waited 2.5 hours. I mean, I'm not complaining about this. I'm just saying there's a lack of respect. There's a lack of respect everywhere in the corporatocracy. And this idea that we need vaccines is a slap in the face. We're going to sell you the crappy food and then just destroys your immune system, then destroy the environment, which probably destroys your immune system, and promote fear, and then sell us vaccines. And this is the kind of culture we live in, but it's not. You don't want to get into blaming anybody. You want to understand what's happening here, but you do not want to blame anybody. Responsibility means the ability to respond, and we always have that. The ability to respond is our power. How we respond is our power. Our responsibility is our power. Taking responsibility is your power, especially over your health. Now, I understand, I'm a chemist and I'm a biologist. I've been studying the body for many, many years. So I understand how, if you don't understand the body, if you're not familiar with how the body works, that's when you go into fear. That's why becoming educated becomes important. Otherwise, you're trusting authorities. Authorities often lead us wrong. I don't say always. Often lead us wrong. They're not always right. So trusting authorities is fraught with peril. And the only reason we trust authorities is because we feel we're not competent enough to figure it out ourselves. We are competent enough not only to figure it out ourselves, but to address the matter ourselves. Not only to understand what's going on, but to address the matter. You got a virus, it spreads. So what are you going to do? Well, you can't stop it from spreading. It's going to spread. You can't not interact with the virus. It's there. They tell you to wash your hands. Well, that's great, but you got to keep washing your hands. They say, okay, keep washing your hands. That's what they say. Yeah, you're right. You got to keep washing your hands. By the way, if your hands are dry from overwashing, you should try my omega-6 healing cream. You'll be blown away by what that does for overwashed hands. So you can wash your hands, great. Okay, but you got to keep washing your hands. What are you going to do? Quarantine? The quarantine thing, you don't even know. You're quarantined, but it can be transmitted before you know you have this virus. So and how do you know you're done? This is how they know. They say you're safe to go out and play. Is if you have 2 negative tests 24 hours apart. So you got to wait. 2 negative tests have 24 hours apart. People can't be quarantined. You got lives to live. What are you going to do in the whole? What are we going to quarantine everybody? Everybody stays in their house? Well, this is not logical. It doesn't even make any sense. But there are ways that we can address this. All right, I'm not even going to, I think I'm going to finish, I think we're going to wind that down. You guys all know my take on it. How caloric restriction prevents negative effects of aging in cells. This is from the Salk Institute. A new study provides the most detailed report to date of the cellular effects of a calorie-restricted diet in rats. While the benefits of caloric restriction have long been known, the new results show how this restriction can protect against aging in cellular pathways. One of the biggest things, or one of the most important things we could do to stay healthy, to live long lives, to have a stronger, more robust immune system is eat less food. People always tell me how they can't afford a supplement program. Well, guess what? This is not a supplement program, but in effect, it's like a supplement program, because when you calorically restrict, or you restrict your calories, you save nutrients. For most of us, we're running negative. If you're not supplementing, you're running negative in nutrients because food costs nutrition. Food, as it is today, processed food costs us nutrition. Isn't that shocking? Modern processed food depletes micronutrients. So the more you eat, the hungrier you not only the hungrier you are, because you need more nutrients, which you don't get from the second round or the third round and the fourth round, but now you're predisposed to aging, you're predisposed to disease, you're predisposed to health challenges, you're predisposed to infections and being symptomatic. So calorie restriction not only is important for saving nutrients, in effect, it's like a supplement program, you get more nutrients in your system, but it also saves you money. It's cheap. And you have more time to do things. Calorie restriction is eating less food and eating nutrient dense. When you eat nutrient dense, you give the body nutrients without work. That's the key. Calories equal work. Calories put more burden, pour more load on the body, and that means nutrient depletion, and that means the production of toxicity, and that means work, and that means a shorter life and predisposition to disease. Now, you need to have calories. I'm not saying you obviously need to have calories, but we don't need to have anywhere near the amount of calories we're ingesting today. And every study that's ever been done on longevity has shown that the less you eat, the longer you live. Plus, you save money. All right, I'm Pharmacist Ben. 844-236-6010 is our number. We'll be back after this. We are back on the bright side. 844-236-6010 is our number. Let's go to the phones and say good morning to Ellis. What's up, Ellis? Good morning. Yeah, where you got Ellis? How you doing, Ellis?
Yes.
What's up, man?
Okay, fine. You can hear me. I'm wondering. I don't know. I'm not a biochemist or anything like that, but I'm wondering: is this virus, is the coronavirus, is it wrapped in a certain type of protein?
Yeah. Proteolytic enzymes would be great, by the way. Is one of the great things you can use for all types of infections. But yeah, go ahead. What was your point?
Well, what I'm saying is, once the protein covering is killed or opened or eliminated, the inside of it.
Correct.
Doesn't that dissolve or?
Yeah, it can't exist without a protein coat.
Okay, so then would serrapeptase?
Yeah, enzymes. That's what I'm saying. And proteolytic, protein-dissolving enzymes are one of the strategies. But you can't really, you can't kill all the viruses. You can't kill all the viruses by just taking serrapeptase. But yes, it can help. Absolutely. So,
is there a therapeutic protocol for that?
I don't know of any official therapeutic protocol, but it's definitely something I would do.
Okay.
Serrapeptase is a great enzyme, but there's all kinds of proteolytic enzymes, and there's foods that contain proteolytic enzymes. So generally speaking, proteolytic enzymes are a good health strategy for bacterial infections, for inflammation, for a lot of things. So yeah, your point is very well taken. And proteolytic enzymes, it's not like you're going to cure the problem with proteolytic enzymes, but you add that to your armamentum, to your toolkit, your tool belt. But you need to support your immune system. You can't rely on killing the virus with substances like proteolytic enzymes, oregano. I know Dr. Kaz he's big on oregano, but killing the virus is not the strategy. It's supporting your immune system to kill the virus. That's the strategy, because your immune system is intelligent. But proteolytic enzymes your point is well taken. Absolutely, I would add that.
Okay, fine. Thank you very much.
Sure. Thank you, Ellis. Take care, man.
Bye.
Thanks for calling. All right, let's go to... Oh, there's Quantum Jeff. There you are. Quantum Jeff. Hey.
Ben,
I'm sorry, man. I didn't see you there, hanging out there in the wings.
Can you hear me all right?
Yeah, I hear you great. I loved your video.
Yeah. This is thanks for having me on, Ben. This is all insanity. I think we could sum everything up with Rene Descartes. I think, therefore I am. That's
a big part of
everything.
it. Yeah, it's a big part of it. How we think, as a man thinketh in his heart. That's interesting, by the way. In the Bible, it says, "As a man thinketh in his heart." So see, it doesn't say "as a man thinketh." It says, "As a man thinketh in his heart," which is very interesting. Right? Because you don't necessarily think about thinking, you don't consider thinking to be a heart thing. We consider it to be a mind thing. But the Bible tells us thinking is a heart thing. Very interesting. And here's one more thing, if I may add. Esoterically, the heart chakra is the immune system chakra. The thymus. The thymus and the heart and the immune system are all linked. And immunity is really, in a way, an enemy issue. You know what I'm saying? It's kind of like an us versus them consideration, self, not self. There's a lot of really interesting aspects about the heart and the immune system and the thymus and esotericism. But I digress. I didn't mean to take you away from your thought there.
This whole coronavirus, this is such insanity. I can't imagine the solution is reverting back to the hindbrain and not be able to critically think or have any type of logic. It's this whole collective mentality of ignorance that's causing an economic collapse because people are just so unaware.
Yeah, ignorance
is just insane.
The word you said, ignorance, is really important. It's like we ignore things, and we ignore things when we go into fear. Fear and ignorance are handmade. They go together, because when you're in fear, your amygdala, your reptilian brain, your fear brain, basically kicks in. Yeah. And under those conditions, you don't see other things. You just see one thing. You ignore other things. You ignore the side, and you just see the center. It's literally about ignorance. So ignorance and fear, they kind of go hand in hand. And the cure for, of course, that means the cure for fear is to become informed. To become educated. We don't right? Information gives you structure and control. Listen to the word, or pay attention to the word. Information. In a form. When something's in a form, now it's no longer chaotic. Now it's in a form. So you can work with it. Information is like handles on just noise. You get handles now. You can handle it, as they say. And that's what information is all about. And that's what education is all about, is promoting information or encouraging information. And that's why I loved your video, because you don't have to do that, but you're doing it as a public service. You're doing it because you know that the more informed people are, the better the world's going to be. Go ahead.
And the funny thing is I made that video before I heard your yesterday's show, so we're right on the money, And also, too, the big problem is, is where you place your awareness is where you place your energy. If you have all of your awareness on the coronavirus, that's where all your energy is going, and now everything else is secondary. And good luck on any type of healing, because that's all you're aware of is the virus.
It's crazy.
You're going to get the virus.
It's a self. Like I said yesterday. Behold, the thing I fear the most has come upon me. It's a self-fulfilling prophecy. And that's what happens. Listen, the coronavirus is here, and there's going to be more. You guys, there's going to be more. This is just the first. This isn't even the first. We've had SARS, we've had MERS. There's going to be more because of how we take care of ourselves, and just to me, that should be a wake-up call. Hey, I want to get a couple more calls in, Quantum Jeff. Thank you so much. I really appreciate.
You got it. Thanks, man.
I appreciate your take, buddy. Okay, bye-bye. No. All right, I love what Quantum Jeff has to say. Don in Georgia, good morning, buddy.
Hey, Ben, how you doing?
Doing good. What's going on, man?
Other than magnesium, what is some good things that we can use to regulate the heart rate? as far as
lots of so much, dude. So much. First of all, the most important is deep breathing. Slow, deep rhythmic breathing. SDR breathing. It's very important you breathe correctly. When I say breathing, it's not enough to... sometimes I'll do a talk and I'll say, make sure you breathe, everybody. And then everybody start going... and they just breathe in this chaotic, crazy fashion. It's not just breathing. That makes matters worse. It's slow, deep, rhythmic breathing, emphasizing the exhale. That's the most important thing. Then there is supplements you could take that are antiarrhythmic directly, especially the B vitamins, and also essential fatty acids, probably sulfur. I'm sure I'm missing something here. Anything that helps you with sugar, chromium, vanadium, that kind of thing. Alpha lipoic acid, selenium. And then there is a very important connective tissue relationship to arrhythmias that never gets addressed. Connective tissue, which we've talked about so much on this program, is really unbelievably valuable. We don't think of heart and connective tissue together, but the heart rests on a skeleton of connective tissue. And that skeleton, that connective tissue skeleton or frame, that the heart tissue rests on is responsible for nutriating the heart cells and for detoxifying the heart cells and for hydrating the heart cells and for just basically that's what connective tissue does. It services the other cells. So when the connective tissue deteriorates, the heart becomes sick. That's why glucosamine and connective tissue building supplements can be very important, especially, get ready for this, vitamin C. This is why vitamin C, one of the main reasons why vitamin C is so fundamental for cardiovascular health is it helps you build connective tissue, especially the connective tissue framework that the heart sits upon. So lots of things you could do, but to me the most important is slow, deep, rhythmic breathing. Calm the body down. And I said EFAs, just let me emphasize, EFAs are your molecules of inflammation and anti-inflammation. The ketogenic diet is also helpful for arrhythmias. All right?
Okay, cool. What about, as far as vitamin C, are we just locked in or stuck with ascorbic acid, or the other forms of vitamin C that are better?
There's all kinds of forms. I think it's much, mineral ascorbates are good. The problem with these fancy forms of vitamin C is you don't get big doses. And I think the dose is more important. So, yeah, I think you asked me about liposomal vitamin C. Was that you yesterday? Somebody asked me about liposomal.
Yeah.
Okay. There's liposomal. Yeah. There's liposomal. There's the mineral ascorbates, like they call them ester C. Now they're generic. Calcium ascorbate. When that came out 25 years ago, it was like everybody wanted that. And that's a good one. But you don't need anything fancy. That's not a big deal.
Good old ascorbic acid.
Good old ascorbic acid. The cell itself uses ascorbic acid and ascorbate. I think it uses ascorbate, actually. But either way, it's ascorbate and ascorbic acid go back and forth. That you don't need anything fancy. I got to go, my friend. Thank you for your call. Appreciate it. And that is all the time we have for today on The Bright Side. Thank you for listening. Check out our websites, brightsideben.com, pharmacistben.com, and criticalhealthnews.com for the longevity products. There are some specials on our Facebook page. I think Nasima told me that, so you might want to check that out, The Bright Side with Pharmacist Ben. And don't forget to take a look at our Truth Skin Health products at truthtreatments.com. Have a wonderful, beautiful, awesome, spectacular day. I'm Pharmacist Ben. We'll talk to y'all later. Bye for now.